I got some ideas, I got some pals, let's get together and pitch some games. This is a series that I can understand why Nintendo kind of abandoned it, except for Smash Brothers. It's F-Zero. And I don't know about you, Shay, but I played the original on the Super Nintendo
Yep.
quite a bit. I never owned it, but I rented it quite a few times. And I liked it a lot, and it has received quite a few sequels. The last game was Climax, and that was actually only for Japan, and that was back in
Really?
2004.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen an F Zero.
I always liked
Um,
it.
and I guess that yeah, but there kind of have been some studios that have worked on other stuff that have made improvements to the whole futuristic racing, I guess, genre. There's one for the PlayStation called
Hmm.
Wipeout. That series is pretty popular. There's probably a couple others that are blanking on their names, but there's not that many. And I liked F Zero quite a bit just because of the whole, I don't know, Nintendo's little take on it, and the music
Yeah,
was
the music
great.
was really great on that.
And it is more of a racer than like Mario Kart. It's not. You don't really. I mean, I really haven't played any of the other ones. Have you played anyone besides
Uh,
F Zero?
yeah, besides the one for the Super Nintendo, I haven't played any of the other games in the series.
Like Captain Falcon is the only person that comes to mind when I
I
think of F
remember
Zero
that
now.
horrible
Just be,
cartoon series, though.
did that come around the same time as Kirby Right Back at
Yeah,
You? Oh boy. Uh, kids, was that for kids production?
I'm pretty sure it was. It was
Oh boy.
it
Um,
was horrible.
and then that reboot of Sonic.
Oh, Sonic
Oh,
X.
that's a yeah.
Mm.
I can make it a cartoon cast sometime. Talk about bad video game thingies. Write that down. Actually, that's a good idea. Do it now. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see them make a really nice, HD
Yeah.
version of it. A brand new in the series, because they make minimal improvements to Mario Kart, and Mario Kart is fun and will always be the most accessible racing game to pretty much any platform out there. For your friends and family and just for everybody. But I always felt that at least the Super Nintendo game was a little bit more hardcore, and I don't know, it was pretty astounding for
Yeah.
1990. For the graphics, at least for the Super Nintendo, I just remember being kind of blown away
Yeah,
by that
I
stuff.
thought it was very well done. Like, I don't know, I me and my friend, when we used to play it, we used to always fight over being the pink car because we thought the cars had special powers, but we never could figure out how to unlock them. So, according to him, that was the jellyfish car, and the jellyfish car was like immune to everything.
Isn't that weird? I mean, back in the day, there was like, at this point, there was like internet technically, wasn't
Uh,
there? Like very early '90s,
94 is when
but
the
not. It
internet
wasn't
really
like
started.
okay. I suppose by this point though we would have been old enough because I didn't start playing Super Nintendo till probably about that time or well either way it's not as prevalent as it is like today, so people had to make up their own stuff and there wasn't really any guides besides like
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo Power, and people always made up these things. I don't know why kids do that. I don't know if kids still do that where like, oh, I'm playing Call of Duty. Did you know if you shoot the wall like 50 times, you'll like make Rick Astley appear? And of course, you can fact check that now. But I mean, people still might believe it because if no one finds it, then obviously they can't really debunk it. So it's kind of like a.
Uh,
It's basically it's correct until proven otherwise, I
uh,
suppose.
yeah,
Um,
I heard
but
these couple preteens. They were standing in GameStop right in front of the cashier, and I was like trying to get my stuff just so I could get out of there because I hate being in there because I feel like GameStop's always such a tiny store.
they are. It's wall to wall stuff jamming you towards
Yeah.
the counter.
So I'm just sitting there. I'm waiting for these kids to move, and I tried to make myself known, but they were ignoring me. And this one kid was talking about how I don't know, he had to be like 11 or 12, and he was talking about he just got like Grand Theft Auto, and how if you like ride a motorcycle for 14 hours straight, you can unlock a sex scene or something. And I was like, oh god, why do you care about this?
The other kid was like, wow, really? It only takes 14 hours to see a sex scene? I'm gonna do it.
Oh.
Meanwhile, the rest of us are taking seconds to look at porn. This has been tangent off of F-Zero, but yeah. What would I like in terms of a future project? I mean, even like a nice enhanced version for like the 3DS would be nice of any of the games, or a re-release of some kind, just to get the ball rolling and see if the fan base is still there for F-Zero. And then, make a really nice, I mean, it could even just be a 3DS game or a Wii U game, like a brand new one. I think it'd go really far, especially on the 3DS. You could do some spot pass races and, ghost trials, and there's always room on the market for two racing games, especially if they're so different. And I think, Nintendo fans would eat that up. I think it's about time. In 2004, 10 years. It's been 10 years since last game. I mean, Captain Falcon has been, again, in Smash Brothers, but he's not driving cars, so...
No, I would agree. F-Zero's different enough from Mario Kart that Nintendo could totally market it as a different game, because it is a different game. And even if they just do like a high definition version, I mean, look at like DuckTales. That just had an HD release, and that game is about as old.
And they got all the voice actors to return too from the TV show, which would, like, Scrooge McDuck's voice actor is like 90 or something like that, pushing 90. So I mean, it was a pretty huge fan project for them. I don't think re-releasing an F-Zero game would take quite as much effort, since there's like no voice acting.
Unless they get the people from the horrible show. Hey guys,
oh my gosh, yeah, what if they're
Captain Falcon?
Do you think that's why Nintendo like gave up on it? It's because that show like tanked, and they're like,
oh shit.
I mean, this game didn't even come out in America. The last American release was, I believe, GP Legend, and it looks like that was based on the show. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to say that that's probably the reason why Nintendo's like.
Which brings up that other like point you made, that like once something fails, they get really like protective, and they pull the fuck back.
Yeah, they're like, nope, we're not doing this. Which is strange, because the Mario Kart... Well, I guess, I don't even know how the Mario cartoons were viewed back then. I remember I liked them a lot, but I mean, going back and trying to watch those, they're pretty rough. Pretty rough. And not that they're not like cringeworthy bad, where they're saying dumb stuff like, I'm gonna...
shell you later.
I don't know. Well, they might say that, I don't know. But they're just... I don't know. They're not as bad as they probably could be, but in terms of like plot and just overuse, and they sing a lot. There's a lot of like montages of like Mario getting things, at least in the Super Mario Bros. 3 cartoon. But anyway, yeah, I mean, just bring it back in some form or another. Test the waters. Delete that cartoon.
Yeah,
from
collectively delete that
existing
cartoon from anyone's memory.
Just pretend it doesn't exist. Yeah. And that's that. Let's move on, though.
Boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, subscribe, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, subscribe.